Hey there. So I have here my Bambu Labs A1, and I recently started getting this error right here. The signal of the heatbed acceleration sensor is weak. The sensor may have fallen off or been damaged. Here you can see the code. I actually got this sensor, I'm gonna say maybe a month ago. It started having the issues. It still prints, but I've been getting this issue, this error, and let me actually show you where the sensor is. So I'm moving the bed forward. If you go underneath, this is the sensor right here. That's the sensor. It's bad. You can actually see it, but unfortunately you cannot change it from here. You have to take off the heat bed. Now, I had actually already reached out to Bambu Labs pretty quick, and they sent me the part. This is what they sent me. So in this video, I'm going to show you the steps that you need to do in order to replace the heatbed sensor in case you have that same error. Then this is the error that you get. I will put links to the Bambu Lab wiki page and the steps that they tell you to follow. So I'm going to show the steps that I'm going to take to replace the sensor. Just wanted to say I'm not responsible if you break or damage anything. As this is the first time I'm doing this, I might just break my own printer. We'll find out then. Here's the part number. This is what's included. You have just a sensor. Put this to the side since I don't need it yet. So what you're going to need for this replacement is going to be, obviously, the sensor. You need the 2mm key, the one that came with your printer, or if you already have another one, either one, as long as it's 2.0mm. You're gonna need that, and you actually need, there's a special glue that they use to connect the wires. I don't have it, but I'm gonna just use crazy glue. You can actually see it. You can see it right there. Actually, that looks just like, that looks like regular hot glue. Okay, so I'm actually going to be using hot glue, or I'll see when I take it apart. Yeah, I know they have that special white glue on the actual connector, but it seems like this is just regular hot glue. So that's what I'll be using. I may, if either I'll use crazy glue to hold it down, or I'll use my glue gun, my hot glue gun. We'll see when I take it apart. Let's see what works. And you will also be needing some kind of long nose pliers. Not sure what these are called, but they're just long nose. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to raise it up. Take all this out. Show you that sensor again. It was printing fine. When it's doing the auto leveling, that's when I'll get that error. Even if I turn it off and turn it back on, the error will always come back. I'm actually not gonna move the printer. I'm gonna do everything right where it's at, but I do have to lift up the head. Oh, gotta home it first. Put it all the way out. There you go. It's all the way out. Okay. That's done. I'm going to turn it off, power it off. So I don't want any shocks or anything. Remove this. Remove the build plate. Okay, so first steps. You're going to remove these little plugs. Just pop out. Here are the plugs. Okay, as I said, you're going to use your 2mm key. Not an Allen key, I think. Is it an Allen key? The 2mm Allen key. Or you have the screwdriver, which I prefer. There, you could actually see the screws that you will be removing. It's 4 of them. So you're taking these off, not these. They're not really tight. They're not hard. They are a little tight, but not really hard to remove. Okay, didn't come out with the screwdriver, so I'm trying to get it out. There it is. Okay, so now that you have all 4 screws out, take this out. Yeah, you can see underneath it. So this just connects to the base. Flip this over this way. Put it down. And here's that little damn sensor. So I realized I'm putting this down, and honestly I don't want to scratch my heat bed, so I have this crappy plate that if you see my other videos you know it just does not work, so it's gonna be more little buffer there. Perfect. Okay. So now, like I said, this is the sensor. Gotta remove. I'm gonna scrape away some of the white glue, which is what I thought was holding this down, but this looks just like regular hot glue. Actually, it's quite hard. So here's the replacement part. Take it out to look at it. So here's the sensor, and here's a little screw, which is going to be this screw right here, to give you an extra one. Not sure if I'll be using it, but I'm taking it out. I want to see how it's held in there. Okay. Put this back. Okay, so it just lifts up. Very careful not to damage these. This has this white glue all over the place. Be very careful because these little cables, these little wires right here, which connect to the heat bed, are very thin. You have to be very careful. I'm slowly trying to peel off the white glue. There we go. You can actually see right here. You can actually hold it. So there we go. So just a little force, pulled right out. I'm guessing if this gets damaged, you probably need a new heat bed. I'm not sure how that could be replaced in there. Okay, but this one's out. Okay, so looking at this screw, you will need a Phillips screwdriver. I'm gonna use 4mm Phillips screwdriver, a little bigger. There we go. The 3 was a little too loose. It felt like it was starting to cross. So the 4 works just fine. There you go. And here is that. So it's not hot glue, but it is very hard. There it is. It sort of feels like crazy glue. Okay, so here's the bad sensor. Honestly, does not look bad at all. I don't know what could be the issue, but this is the bad one. So here's the new sensor. Has your little guides. Has 2 indentations, which your sensor has those 2 indentations too, right here on the side, this one and this one. The middle one's where the screw goes in. Drop it in. Screwing it snug, not too tight, not loose. Putting this back in. Actually, I'm try to clean some of this glue off. Put it in. This plug. You see the guide parts, the guide rails on top. Put it in. A little pressure. And there you go. That's it. It's in. I'll just put it in this little slot right here to hold it in place. It actually sort of clips in. This is you're supposed to glue this part here. I guess it's not supposed to be loose. Here's my heat gun. I have this Ryobi, not heat gun, glue gun. Actually love this glue gun. I think this is the 2nd model they have. Heats up very fast. Try to put a little dot first and then I'll okay. It's actually holding it in place. I'm going to put a little bit of glue right here, the connector, just to make sure this connector doesn't pop off like it had before. Okay, there you go. You can see the hot glue. It's actually holding it very well. The wires shouldn't really have any force on them, so it doesn't have to be a lot. And this is being held in place. Looks good. It's tight on there. Okay. Time to flip this back. Okay. Flipping it back. So you have to make sure to align. It does have guides. These here. If you can see them. The little rails here. Align them with this part here. I could actually take off this. Okay, so now I'm trying to feel when it drops in place. One thing to note, you can see there, when you move it forward, you have, you can see where the screw goes. You actually have two positions to put it in. You see it? If you pull the heat bed forward, you can put it in the back. That applies for all 4 screws, all 4 holes, I mean. If you push it back, there are other lines with the front screws. When I took it off, I'm actually using the front screws, the screw over here, not the one in the rear, and that is where I'm going to align it. To be honest with you, I don't know if it matters, because it seems like you could actually put it there and it'll work, but I'm just gonna keep it as it was, right there. You can see it moves. It's not in yet. So this is in the would be good if you have they're a little magnetized. Makes it easier. Before I tighten them up, I'm trying to put a few in, just sort of to align it. Make sure you don't cross thread the screws either. So it's always a good idea to put them in, turn it counterclockwise just to set. You can actually hear when it sets. Here, you can start screwing in slowly. If you feel any resistance, stop, because you might be cross-threading. Counterclockwise. Feel when it goes in. Okay, then clockwise to set them in. Before I start tightening up, I'm gonna push, make sure that it is forward. Okay. Tighten them up cross, tighten, just like you would on a car. Okay, already feel a little bit of pressure there. Pressure. A bit of pressure, not too much. This is how I do my electronics, and everyone has their own style, their own method. Especially with this parts are aluminum and that's steel. You don't want to over tighten because you will cross thread, damage your threads, and you'll have way more issues than this. You feel no movement at all. That feels solid. Okay, before I do anything, just quick wipe down with some isopropyl alcohol. Going to put a build plate on before I power it on. Then I'm going to have to do calibration. Powering on. Powering on. Okay. Okay, powered on, no problems. Now do calibration. I'm gonna run all of them. Hope I have no issues. And start. Okay, calibration complete. Moment of truth. Awesome. No errors. They calibrated well. Now to do some test prints. But so far, the fact that this error did not come up again, that's a good thing. I think it's fixed. Because before, anytime I used it, calibration, no calibration. Second I sent anything to print, I always got that error. But now we're good. There you go. I hope this helps someone.